Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What you are about to witness is the absolute pinnacle of gaming YouTube. Nowhere on the planet will you find a better gaming YouTuber, I swear. And now, with your host, Jibba73, the DoubleEShow! Dude, can I have $5 now?
What's going on, everybody? Jibba73 back with the DoubleEShow. It's Moving Mondays with American Truck Simulator. So I'm recording this back-to-back with last week's episode. So I will not be talking about the games this week. I'm trying to get through these Christmas hauls. I got to get 12 done, and I've got something like, I've got 5. So I want to try to get through these Christmas deliveries. So I'm going to record this one, and then I'm going to do a bunch offline and try to finish it up. So here we go. This one's going to be a rather long haul. We're going from Barstow here to Roswell, New Mexico. Be nice, driver, be nice. So I can see in my route advisor at the bottom of the screen that I have a little bit of damage to my tires. And it's tire wear, and it's probably due to some of the running into other vehicles and whatnot. Or just the traveling that I've done thus far. Thus far. I'm gonna burp. I don't know why I have to burp. Drinking coffee. So let's hope this is all highway. It's Tuesday at 3:14. It says once it there by 9 p.m. tonight. Almost sideswiped that car because the truck stopped at the end of the on-ramp instead of merging in. So, gotta take this next right, heading out towards Flagstaff, Arizona, and Kingman. So, I'll put my signal on. Looks like it's easy enough to merge out onto here. Got vehicles down the road. So anywho, happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all had a grand weekend. Hope you all had a grand weekend. My weekend was about the same as last week because this is still last week for me. But listen, weekends are important if you work or if you have school. You use that time to either catch up on house stuff, apartment stuff, friends, social stuff, or you use it to catch up on your homework and whatnot, so you can get them projects done. I think I just need to go up to 60. I don't need to go faster than that. I think the truck limit, I've got it set so that it shows me the speed limit. And, that's 58. Okay, we will do one more. And, trucks are usually 10 miles per hour less than that. That's why these truckers are going 60. That guy's actually doing about 50. Right on. So, I usually on the weekends, my wife works a Monday through Friday job, and on the weekends, we usually do catching up on the household stuff. Doing chores, doing any maintenance that needs to be done in the house. DIY projects. trying to get it all aligned so that at some point we will be in a position where we don't have any of those things to do, and when the weekend comes, we can just relax. I mean, we still go out and do things on the weekends here and there when we make plans, but for the most part, it's you know, it's tidying up the household, because you got to stay on top of things, because if you don't, it gets away from you. Oh, goodness. So I'm still running the CB chatter, but there are points in this CB chatter where there's almost nothing. You know, just a little background static, the occasional conversation. I gotta pull into the way station. Right on. And we stop here. And push enter. 73,829 pounds of candy cane. We are on our way. Felt like my load shifted there. Okay, so what to talk about? Let's see. We're heading to Roswell, New Mexico. Do you believe in aliens? Ooh, do you? So, I'm not sure how I feel about aliens and spaceships and things like that. It would be ignorant in the grand scheme to believe that we are the only life forms that exist in this universe. You get what I mean? Like, we live in a massive universe, or even a multiverse, or whatnot, depending on what you look at it like. It would be really ignorant or arrogant even to think that we are the only intelligent life out there. However, have they came to visit us? Have we seen, or do we have evidence of them visiting us? What are your thoughts? I mean, there's theories on mass hysteria, you know. Well, there's so many sightings in these areas. People, so the first person to come up with the idea, obviously, no idea. No idea. How they came up with it, what they thought they saw, what actually occurred, no idea. Subsequent people having similar experiences could be mass hysteria. Could be you go to the area hoping to see what the other person saw, and your mind tricks you into seeing what it is you're desperately seeking out. Possibility, right? Also, when you have multiple people that are not connected to each other, seeing the same or similar things in the sky, on the ground, in the forest, wherever, from different viewpoints, how do you explain that? Because obviously, each person has gone to that area for different reasons. Like when you hear of mass sightings over cities, and you get people from different parts of the city, here, there. I gotta get fuel. How do you account? Stay off the stay awake strips. How do you account for them seeing all that they see at the same time, but from different perspectives, and people who have different backgrounds, different mindsets, you know, not... Oh, come on. There it is. Okay, let's get her down in 4th. Parker brake on. Engine off. Get some fuel. How do you account for those people? Like, if me and my friend who grew up in the same area and were brought up by parents of similar ilk go somewhere and we see something together, it's likely that we have the same frames of reference to see what we think we saw. But when you have different people with different backgrounds who were brought up in different ways, who have different belief systems, and they all see the same thing, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? How do you explain government officials claiming to have seen, you know, X, Y, and Z, and you know, I mean, think about it. You have a lot of respected people who have claimed to see these things. They're not a person that you would assume would be, you know, bat crap crazy, and they see these things. They claim to see them. How do you explain that away? Now, granted, if you're a government official and you work in a capacity that brings you to, say, Area 51, I have a friend that flew in and out of there many times. And he's not allowed to talk about anything there for X number of years. Or forever. I don't remember how he explained it. But he's under... He's under agreement that he can't speak about what may or may not be there. He's flown into the airbase, and that's as much as he can say. And there are government officials, you know, military, police, whatnot, who work in areas like that, who have gone to investigate crash scenes that may or may not have discovered things, and they're not allowed to talk about it. Is there intelligent life on other planets or in our universe as a whole that have come to visit us? Now, I'd like to think that they have. I'd like to think that some of these hieroglyphics that they've discovered that show what looks to be like alien type people, alien type crafts flying, which they had no concept of then other than birds. It would be really cool to think that these aliens visited ancient locations and shared technology, or maybe not technology, but shared different methods to help them sustain their civilizations, to keep them going, and, you know, and then moved on. And maybe their cycle for coming around is, you know, every couple thousand years. And to them, that's like a drop in the bucket. And to us, it's a couple thousand years. You know, but maybe that's a possibility. Because some of the drawings and some of the hieroglyphics like Egypt and Mexico and Venezuela and stuff that have been found show these alien-looking species being depicted. And, how do you explain the Nazca lines? They were designed to be seen from the sky by people who had no concept of flight. Right? I mean, what's that all about? Maybe you've seen something you think is an unidentified flying object. If you have, put it in the comments. I'm not here to judge, and I would hope that my community isn't judgmental. But what do you think? What do you think about the idea that we have been visited and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I forgot on this profile I have cruise control set to go up in 1 mile per hour increments, so that's why I count off 5 thinking I'm going up 10 miles per hour. Anywho, I mean, is it possible? Is it impossible? If it's impossible, explain why you feel that way. In a brief comment. Just say, I don't think it's possible because X, Y, and Z. For example, we've in the planets that we have sent scientific equipment to, or been to, the moon, for instance, whatever planet, star. There's been no evidence of any life on any of these other things, and we've had no direct contact in modern age. So that leads me to believe that it's not a thing. Explain it. Just tell me what you think. I have no qualms either way. I'm on the fence. I sort of think that it's possible, but at the same time, I also believe that much of what we see in the news, or that's covered on, like paranormal shows, is mass hysteria. One person seeing it or making up something, and then other people desperately wanting to see what that one person claimed they saw, and so they go and they see it too, even though, they didn't. Their brain tricked them into seeing an object, and they made it out to be, or whatnot. I don't know. I just don't know. But it would be interesting to find out for sure. And it'd be interesting to see if, I think what I fear is aliens like in Independence Day, who are dominant and want to eradicate us so that they can use the resources of our planet. But then I think to myself, we're using up the resources of our planet. We kind of are. And as such, we have less and less to give. And I would imagine they must have ways to detect whether or not, from a distance, what type of resources we have to offer. It is going up and down by 2 miles per hour. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Anywho. So, maybe that's why they've avoided us for so long. Maybe they came when we were resource rich, and by the time they swung back around to take care of business, we were resource depleted. I don't know. I just don't know enough about it. But what made me think about it all was because we're heading to Roswell, and Roswell is is close to Area 51. It's where the first major modern generation sighting of a UFO crash occurred. It's just outside of Roswell. And, you know, it sparked the thought, what about aliens? I'd like to think that aliens would be ET-like, where they're inquisitive, they want to learn, study, not probing cows, but learn and study, examine us like, you know, like, how do I put this? Because this could go either way. Like when scientists find new cultures that have been undiscovered for, you know, whatever, they just come across a new tribe that's never been discovered before, and they gingerly try to meet with them and then learn about how they've sustained for so long without being discovered, without modern convenience, without evolving their abilities beyond just tribal aspects. You get what I mean? Like, I would hope that, you know, aliens who have the capability for interplanetary travel would study us in that way, ask us questions, see where we're at, find out what we are doing, you know, get an idea of what our planet is about as a whole. You know, kind of like Star Trek, where they seek out new life, their continuing science mission to discover new life and new civilizations. I would like aliens to be like that. I would not like aliens to be like Independence Day, where they come in, we want your planet, you're all going to be like ants to us who bite, and that's annoying, here is your pesticide, you go away. That's what I don't want to have happen. That's why I'm on the fence. I think the more you believe in something, the more likely it is to occur. I don't know if that's actually a thing. But in a way, it kind of is. If you believe strongly enough in something, like people who go to see a UFO, their mind will make it happen. But I'm not saying if you believe, you know, Ariana Grande is your girlfriend, hard enough, she's going to be your girlfriend. Belief doesn't work that way. You can't change somebody's free will with belief alone. But like I say, I don't want to believe in the negative of aliens visiting. I'd rather think that if they do or have, it's been positive. Again, your thoughts. Put them in the comments below. I don't, you know, that's the other thing too. I know more than the 5 usual commenters watch my videos because, you know, they get 20, 30 views each, you know, sometimes more. If that many people are watching, how about you comment every once in a while? How about you give me some something to chew on when we're doing these? Hey, that was actually pretty good. When we're doing these Moving Mondays. Comment, I tell you. I would like to say that let's get away from that topic for a little bit. And if you've made it this far, woohoo! We're 25 minutes in, and I'm going to talk about YouTube a little bit. My view time, knock on wood, has been up. Minutes watched, number of views, that's all been growing. And I'm not sure what spawned it. I'm not sure if it was a Tropico review or people catching on to Depraved. But those videos seem to be really producing well. Banished always gets really good views, and even the Banished videos have been getting higher than average views. But I've really been digging it, the extra views. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like people are starting to watch my content more. And as such, knock on wood, I've been getting some subscriptions out of it. And it makes me feel really good because I do put some effort into this. This isn't just me sitting down playing a game and uploading it to YouTube. Many of the games I edit out very little. I am going to work on editing out more and working on my editing skills better to make the videos a little more concise and to the point. But for the most part, when I sit down, I'm able to one-off a video fairly easily without many flubs. And as such, I can usually take that, just the file, put it into my editing software, add the beginning and end, or whatnot, and my little like and subscribe icon that pops up on the screen every so often. And I'm able to just, plop those in and render a video. So that's another thing too. If you want shorter videos on certain series, let me know. If you want longer videos on certain series, let me know. I'm willing to do whatever the audience wants to make my content more entertaining and watchable for you. That's what I'm rooting for. 2, 3. See if it goes up to 66. It does, okay. So, 1, 2. Right on. The view out here is pretty spectacular, especially with this winter mod. I love the snow cover in the desert because, believe it or not, folks, in some deserts in the United States, it does snow. Kind of like New Zealand, like that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and I've been to New Mexico. I did not get to go to Roswell. I was not in that part of the state. I was in Taos, New Mexico. And I went and visited a really good friend of mine out there. Oh, what an awesome dude. Matt, if you ever watch my videos, you are top tier, sir. You are the most expensive of champagne. You are the most smoothest of bourbons. You are the most full-bodied of cognacs. You, sir, are aces. Anywho, went out and visited him and his wife, and they took me all over and around Taos, showed me a lot of the scenes. Speaking of aliens, so the movie Paul with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, that was filmed. A lot of the locations in that were filmed in Taos, New Mexico. In fact, the bridge where, is it John Heater? I can't remember his name. The one FBI agent who is searching for the aliens drives his car right off the side, gets pushed off to the side of the road and doesn't get back on in time to make the bridge, and he flies into the gully and his car explodes. That bridge they're going over is in Taos. A lot of the sceneries are that they use, like locales they use, Taos, New Mexico. So there's your UFO movie filmed in and around Taos, because the movie's about a couple of comic book geeks who are they're going to Comic-Con and they actually run into an alien when they're going to visit Area 51, and they run into an alien and comedy ensues. It's actually a really funny movie. It's a really good movie. I like the movie a lot. But then again, I like most of the stuff that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost do. You know, they're really talented comedians and actors. I can bypass this one. Woohoo! Thank you. You already weighed me at the other one. So... but yeah, so Taos is a beautiful state. Jeez, I'm crow. Taos is a beautiful city. The Pueblo is phenomenal with its sprawling vistas. And I went and saw the oldest, longest continuously inhabited building in the country. Oops. Whoa, cut off car. Sorry about that. In the United States. I think it's in North America as a whole, to be exact. But really cool. And they still run, the Pueblo Indians there still run shops out of those buildings. And it's really cool, really neat. Little adobe buildings. Cool stuff. Anywho, so heading in here, I think we're still in Arizona, yeah? I think we are. Heading here to New Mexico made me think of that. Now, I haven't really spent a lot of time driving around the New Mexico DLC. But I've seen screenshots of landmarks that exist in New Mexico that I did get to see. I wish they would have put Taos in, although the reality is not a lot going on in Taos, big business-wise. So I would imagine trucks go in and out, but they're probably more local traffic going from warehouse to grocery store or whatnot. But there's a lot of, excuse me, there's a lot of artisans. There's a huge art culture there, actually. And a lot of small business. And it's really seems to be very much community oriented. And on a side note, Dennis Hopper, the actor, is buried in Taos, New Mexico. And I went and visited his grave. Dennis Hopper was really a very talented actor. I believe he did writing and directing as well. He was an icon of 60s culture, 1960s culture. Overall, from everything I know, he was a great all-around person to work with, and I've never really, that I can recall, heard anything bad about his personal life. But knowing that he was buried there, I wanted to go see his grave, and it's there, and really cool. Another fun fact, Julia Roberts owns a compound in New Mexico, not far away from Taos. Very private, secluded, with big fences. She's a very, very extremely private person from what everybody told me. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, so it looks like we got just under 7 hours. So that'd be about 30 minutes. So I think I'm going to split this into 2 videos. So, yeah. If you like what you're watching, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Tell your family, tell your friends. If you have any suggestions as to what you'd like me to talk about here on Moving Mondays, put them in the comments below, because I do read them. And with that, I will catch you next Monday for another episode of Moving Mondays, American Truck Simulator. Peace!
That was a failure of epic proportions, unacceptable.